If it seems like it's getting really expensive to order something online or to send a package, you're not going crazy. UPS, the worldwide leader in package shipping, has been jacking up prices over the past few years, up to 11% on packages this year alone. In 2022, the increases led to record revenue, $100 billion, and in profit, $13.1 billion.
While UPS making billions of dollars in profit, they have people living in the shelter, working for them, can't afford a room.
As you've probably guessed by now, none of that additional profit went to its workers. Instead, UPS is trying to turn its union drivers, warehouse workers, and technicians into glorified gig workers. But the Teamsters, who represent 340,000 UPS workers in tense contract negotiations, are fighting back. If they don't get a fair deal by July 31st, they'll launch the biggest single employer strike in American history. Here's why that matters and what's at stake, not just for UPS workers, but for you too.
Who are we? Teamsters! Who have the power? We have the power!
To understand what's happening right now, it's crucial to know how the situation got this urgent. For decades and decades, working at UPS was a good job that provided a comfortable middle-class life, and it was the union that made that possible. Feeling the heat of the rising labor movement, UPS founder Jim Casey got desperate and preemptively invited the Teamsters to organize UPS workers in 1919. Teamsters leadership had its ups and downs over the years, but the local rank and file always went hard, and they had to. It took threats of a statewide strike in Kentucky to get UPS to simply back off making workers wear bow ties on the job. And the job always meant good pay, healthcare, a pension, and stability. That began to shift in 1982, when UPS began instituting a two-tier pay system that forced part-time workers to take a serious pay cut. The same thing was happening across the country, and between deregulation, corporate consolidation, and trickle-down economics, the conditions continued to decline. In 1991, the Teamsters elected a new reformer president named Ron Carey. And in 1997, he led 185,000 unionized UPS workers out on a massive strike. The strike cost UPS tens of millions of dollars every single day. And after 15 days, the company tapped out. With the public on their side, the Teamsters won big raises for everyone and got 20,000 part-time jobs turned into 10,000 full-time jobs. New conservative leadership unfortunately failed to hold on to many of those wins, and in 2018 agreed to another two-tier pay system that workers absolutely hate. That was the final straw. In 2021, Teamsters rank and file elected an aggressive new president named Sean O'Brien.
And they always ask us when we're doing media, do you want to strike UPS? I said, you should ask UPS that question because they are going to be responsible if a strike happens.
Now, they're looking to win a new contract that reflects their worth and gets workers across the country back on track in the war against corporate greed.
We make their profits. All of them sit there, they tell us what to do, they tell us how to run their business, but we do the work. And all we're saying is it's our time.
Now, one employee did get a nice payday last year. CEO Carol Tomei took home $19 million. Shareholders did well too, as UPS dropped $3.5 billion on stock buybacks. The Teamsters have a much different proposal for how all that money is spent. It's got more than a dozen points, which we'll group together in 4 different, packages. In package number 1, working conditions. Workers want management to stop harassing them, stop monitoring their every move with driver-facing cameras up in their faces, put some air conditioning in the trucks, and quit it with the forced overtime for starters. No more 14-hour days, 6 days a week. And in package number 2, and this is the big one, is the end of two-tier. They want equal pay for equal work. Right now, some of the drivers get full-time pay and weekends off, while a whole generation of new drivers, known as 22-4s internally at UPS, get screwed.
Drivers are divided into 2. They do the same job, but some of them are under that new contract, and the other ones are regular drivers. And the difference is like I believe even like $10 the hour difference.
I mean, it's no difference at all. That's what's, unfair about it. The fact that 22.4 drivers are doing the same exact job. In fact, we're actually working much more, out there longer hours, delivering higher volumes for such a less pay.
I have to be here from 4:30 to 8:30 in the morning. I have to come in, then I go home. I try to get as much sleep as I can get before I come in the next time, which is 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. that same day, and then go home and get some sleep again. I can tell you that I'm extremely exhausted. Every part of my body is hurting right now. Just the only reason why I come to work is because I need money,
Now, UPS wants all full-timers to work brutal schedules with no real weekend. It also wants to hire more part-timers, which brings us to UPS's dirty secret. The company likes to boast about high wages, but only a small percentage of workers receive it. 60% of its workers are part-time, often making barely above minimum wage.
The starting pay for part-timers has been stagnant for a long time. We work in the dawn of the morning, and we work, it's physically challenging. From about 4 o'clock, we are subjected to a rigorous undertaking. We guarantee 3.5 hours. Within that time, we do like 8 hours worth of work.
So that's package number 3, better pay for part-timers, and to turn these jobs into full-time. In essence, UPS's goal is to be a lot more like Amazon, treating workers like disposable widgets, which is how they already view your packages.
How they treat the packages, they don't care. As long as you get the deliveries done, that's all that matters to them. Numbers, that's all that matters to them.
UPS is miles apart from getting it right now. The company wants fewer full-time workers and more part-timers. In fact, they want workers that aren't Teamsters at all. Uber and Lyft-esque gig workers that deliver packages out of their own cars. And that's package number 4. No subcontracting, and no gig workers taking union drivers' work. Baseline, keep UPS a union workforce. Guaranteed schedules and fair pay. Respect workers. The clock is ticking on negotiations. On one side are the workers and consumers. On the other, UPS and Wall Street. A good contract for the Teamsters will show the power of working people over corporate America, not just for UPS workers, but for working people everywhere.